Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today with this Moons of Ascension episode and roundtable for the new moon of the Unity moon, the Heart moon. And I'm really excited to share about all the energy that we're all experiencing right now. And I'm joined with an amazing panel of lovely ladies that have such a wealth of information. So I know that this is going to be a very rich and deep discussion that we're going to embark on today with this wonderful energy of unity that's just pouring in right now. So a little bit about me. I'm Jen Berryhill. I started Moons of Ascension as a way to just continue the work that was left as a legacy with Chief Golden Light Eagle, who taught us the Earth Star ways with the calendar of the 13 moon calendar system, working with the universal spiritual laws of creation. And so we're going to get into what the moon of unity and the heart moon is all about. And we're all going to have a little bit of a chance to share what unity really is and how it really applies in our lives at this point in time. So a lot of what you'll hear with me will be based on some of the teachings that come through with the Makama Chakpe Wichocha, the 1111 book, and the 1313 moon book. So yeah, I'm going to just invite our guests here to pop on, introduce themselves, let us know where you're coming in from, and then we'll get started. So who would like to go first?
Hi, I'm Lelie. I'm here at Earth Star in Fort Collins, Colorado, and I learn something new every day about the star knowledge information, and I'm just enjoying learning new things and connecting with everybody around the world.
Awesome. Thanks so much for coming in, Lelie. It's always great to have you. Lelie is doing an amazing, I guess you could say, project of really compiling all the videos and information that was brought through over these past 25 years and creating kind of like a records library to keep and maintain that legacy alive. So I just want to acknowledge you again for the work that you're doing, Lelie. Really appreciate that because it's so important. So thank you. And then Soma, do you want to go next?
Hi, I'm Soma ARah, and I am creating channel. I'm living here in Ireland at the moment, and I just it's I started my journey as a child, waking up through trauma, and also beautiful spiritual experiences. On the other hand, so I had kind of a very difficult childhood that put me onto the spiritual path, which I'm so grateful for. And always very aware of spirit and deep connection to Native Americans, and remembered a lot of past lives as a child of being in Native America, one particular lifetime. The energies over the last couple of weeks really intense. And I was talking to a friend earlier who was saying that he found it very, his word that he used was tense. I'm just delighted to be here this evening. It's been a while since I've connected in with you all, and I've been looking forward to it all day.
And Zoe-Anna, thank you so much for joining us once again.
It's an honor to be here. I love it when we get to play in this space. So my name is Zoe-Anna. I'm tuning in from Sydney, Australia. Passion for guiding people how to feel good through pathway of yoga, meditation, really working with their body. I'm an explorer on planet Earth right now, adventurer, and here to pass on understandings from my own exploration and then weaving that in a deep connection with the native Indian teaching, American Indian teachings as well. It definitely feels like another past life. It feels so natural and fluid, and no surprises that we're all here right now in this divine alignment. So yes, I want to create impact and support others to create impact with no force in a peaceful way here on Earth.
Awesome. Yeah, I know you're doing a lot of work and it's so beautiful, and it just shows with how you walk and who you are and the magic that you bring. So thank you so much for coming on as well. And so I thought I would just share a little bit, kind of just the journey that we've been going on as we've been working with these teachings and with these symbols and these laws and these messages, because each moon, you know, it opens up a new StarGate. It has its own DNA activation that comes from a certain star realm. There's a test that comes every month and a law that we work with. And so the first one that we start off with is with the buffalo moon, and it's working with the energy of purity and the law of protection of family. And then the second moon is the grandfather's moon, working with the ways of wisdom and the law of free will. And then we move into the whale moon, which is working with the virtue of knowledge and the law of movement and balance. And then we move into the eagle moon, which works with the energy of renewal and the law of symmetries. And then we move into the butterfly moon, which is the moon of healing and working with the law of change. And then we move into the tree moon, which is the essence of truth and working with the law of equality. And then we have the turtle moon, which is working with the energy of enlightenment and the law of life. And then we move into the firefly moon, which works with the essence of innocence and the law of growth. And then we have the corn moon, which works in the StarGate of silence, and that is working with the law of choice. And then we have the bear moon, which is the energy of introspection, and that's also working with the freedom of all. And then we move into the spider moon, which is all about purification and works with the law of innocence, truth, and family. And then we have the grandmother's moon, which is the essence of reverence and working with the law of strength, health, and happiness. So that is the moon energies that we're sort of waning out of and moving into this 13th moon, this heart moon, this unity moon. And this particular moon is going to be working with the Antakarana and then the law of integrity. So really, it's like we've done a lot of work to get to this point, and now we're in this amazing place because everything begins and ends with the heart. And so here we are, we're blessed with this 13 moon this year. It only happens every so often. And so it's such a beautiful, rich topic to really dive into what really is unity, because I think a lot like how you could define love or define truth or even divine enlightenment, we all have a different sense or even definition of what that is. And so it's just fun to all, have everybody kind of contribute their belief system around it or what they're seeing with it, how it applies in your life, so that we can build this discussion and see what might be coming in for us, with this influence for this particular moon cycle, starting with this new moon, November 23rd of 2022. So I'm excited to hear from Soma. She mentioned to me in our conversation before this podcast that she was actually in this conversation already. And so I would love to have you kick us off, Soma, and share a little bit about it.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks, Jenny. So I was doing a personal channeling a couple of days ago, and one of the things that I saw, one of the information or downloads that came through, humanity is connected on a very deep level, that we are all one. Somehow I've just always known that as a child. But the information that came through, I think it was 2 days ago, I was seeing this image of, and it represents the universe, not just humans and humanity, but it represents the whole universe, where everything within the universe is connected. And I was seeing this beautiful watch or clock work, and it was just so vast. and it was vast. I mean, it was as huge as the universe. It was never ending, and each piece was different, but it was all interconnected and interlocking is connected, and it was such a beautiful image, such a beautiful message of how the time where on Earth at the moment is, it's not restricted to Earth, and most of us are aware of that are working in the field. It's not stagnant in a box. It flows. And that was just a really beautiful message. And I was looking at the sea, and I was being shown that God is the ocean, and we are the individual droplets. And also within that image and download, there were circles interlocking, representing soul groups. But I've also was shown, not at that time, at a different time, but I was also shown once that the souls we have on Earth at the moment have multiplied and multiplied and multiplied and multiplied, so that, for example, some of our soul groups may even be or are coming from the one source or the one soul. Unity consciousness is really where it's at. We need to accept and recognize and be more familiar with understanding and accepting that we are all one. But I hope that helps at least somebody.
Yeah, you definitely brought in a lot of really amazing information, and there's kind of a lot to unpack with that. And I love that you brought in just the awareness around the ascension being part of the soul work that we're doing. And I'm going to pull up this graphic. When we're doing this ascension work and we're activating our DNA and we're climbing through these 12 moon cycles to this 13th moon, you know, we're climbing through these dimensions, and each one brings an activation. And so in a lot of ways, it is a soul activation. It's reclaiming disowned aspects of our soul to be a more whole and full being. And so these symbols, you can see those outer ring are the 12 symbols of the 12 moon cycles. And then within there, you see the Merkaba and the 7 symbols around that circle inside the Merkaba. And those are the symbols that we work with for the days of the week. And then moving into the inner circle, you see those 4 symbols, which works with the season. And in the very center, you see the Antakarana. And that's the symbol that comes through with the 13th moon, this moon of unity, the moon of the heart. And so you can see how everything ties into the energy of the heart. And like, it's just like this big completion. It's a big celebration time, you know, to be in this elevated space where we've raised our frequency to the frequency of love. It's also working with us on a soul level. So Lelie, do you want to jump in and share at this point?
Well, it's interesting. I opened my calendar today and this page fell out, and it was from 2020. And it says, in this year of 2020, we are blessed with a rare 13th moon in the star knowledge calendar. November 14th, 2020 was the time then. It is the new moon of the heart, and the StarGate of Unity will be activated. Take this opportunity to make a prayer, do a personal ceremony, and join in the focus of unity and harmony of all creation. Our hearts and the heart of Mother Earth will be synchronized through song and the highest vibration of love, to open the StarGate of Unity, to shower the earth with a vibrant light that will shine out into the galactic universe, connecting to the heart of Creator. With the support of our galactic family, we can anchor peace on earth. And that was perfect. You know, I didn't even know it was there. So the thinking of unity, before I found this page this morning, I just think of the circle and how when we gather in a circle, we're unified. There is no above, below, we're all one. And so we have to remember that we all are part of this magnificent circle on this planet Earth, and that there are times when we don't feel like we're connected, but we really are. And, you know, we need to really work on that. And especially now.
We're sharing it. It reminded me, you know, just when it's such a powerful message when you hear that we're never alone. And when I do bounce into those times when I'm feeling a bit lonely, I call in the grandmothers, because the grandmothers work with us on that Merkaba level. You know, they work with the 6 directions of our light body. And when we can acknowledge that we have that connection to the creator above us and to Mother Earth below us, and the holy mothers to the left of us, and the holy fathers to the right of us, the grandmothers behind us, the grandfathers in front of us, we'll always know that we're never alone. And so I wanted to just bridge that in, because the grandmothers, you know, they're still very, very present during this time, working with that way of reverence. And it's the reverence really is about remembering your relationships, remembering your relationships to all of those directions that hold really the lifetimes of who we are, remembering the sacredness of who we are as well. So Zoe, do you want to go ahead and share what you have going on with you with the idea of unity?
So a lot of it came through in a dream 3 nights ago, actually, when someone was talking. I'm full on activating here, so I know that we're soul family. We are all soul family in here. That real, we've been getting those divine reflections of souls showing up for us to really see what it is within ourselves, what needs to come into alignment so we can recognize the unity within all. So the dream that came through 3 nights ago, which felt like a timeline shift, and I actually put it up on my page. Anyone after this, they want to go into it a bit deeper, but very simply, it was, I was at the bottom of the ocean. So it was this sense of feeling, as Soma said as well, at one with the ocean. And I'd been down there for some time holding my breath, and others were around me as well. And I felt this deep sense of peace. And then this piece of information came in that there was a huge wall of water, like a huge tidal wave coming in. But yeah, there was no fear. I felt this deep sense of peace and calm. And there was 2 choices that we had at that point. We were in that space of oneness, to take the chance to quickly rush that urgency, which is an illusion, to the surface at the chance of catching a breath, to then possibly get caught up in the surface, which was the 3D consciousness, the entanglement of what so many people are spinning out, almost like this centrifugal purification process of the surface level that needs to get purified to cleansed, at the risk of getting tumbled up in that, or to trust and have faith that I would be given enough breath and to breathe through our cell, through our skin, right? So it was, yeah, that was the choice, to stay at the bottom and observe. The other message was about this real, about coming into silence, coming into stillness, coming into deeper levels of compassion, of witnessing others, of what they are going through, and being able to be that presence of divinity for them, so they can remember and see that reflection of what they've forgotten in themselves. So yes, this huge wave passed over, and people got tumbles, and that was okay. That was part of the medicine, right? And then we suddenly popped up, and we were dancing around in the water as dolphins, and we were playing, and it was light and free, and the water was pristine, it was clear, which shows me consciousness, the clarity. The surface of the level was the, you know, the thoughts of the mind, the busyness, the stuckness. So wherever the surface level people are out of integrity, it is coming up for full view to see, are you truly being who you are underneath the surface in every area of your life, which is the heart, right? There's no hiding with the heart. It's deep. It's going into the deep emotions. So in myself, I've had in the last week a beautiful witnessing by a beautiful masculine that held space for me to let go of all my knowing, letting go of all my knowledge, and actually for the first time in my life be guided. And there's something really powerful about that when it comes to the heart, that there comes a time we have to let go of everything that we think we know and simply allow to be guided by another. As when we do that, the vulnerability opens up. That's when the true medicine of the heart, deep in the subconscious, the infinite ocean starts coming up. And that's what I feel the shift is. There's been a shift 3 days ago. I feel full on activated right now. I'm doing my best to ground. Yeah, and I feel there's a real level of integrity, of shifting beyond judgment. And, you know, we've gone through this massive 3 years of, you know, really standing in our anchoring in our own, what our own truth and medicine is, and really seeing others with love and compassion and kindness, no matter what their choices have been. And I feel the more that's really about sitting in the heart and integrity and unity, because until we can see each individual on the planet as a reflection and a mirror of ourselves, that's when we truly understand unity. Through that clear seeing of the clear ocean, no distortions. And I feel like I'm only just understanding what love means, that not the love of attachment, but that total, the wave and what came through in that, it's like, let go of everything that you're holding on to, because the more we do that, the more we strangle ourselves, and then we resist the flow that is coming through right now, and it is pumping and it's moving fast. So if you're not letting go, you're going to get like pinned down until you, and then you get popped up back up. Yeah. That's my download.
How it ties in with sort of the energies of what we are working with, which is the Antakarana and the Merkaba, and it's working with that way of unity and integrity. And
yeah,
I just kept hearing like integrity seeping through with what you were sharing, just letting everything go so that the real you, the real true, genuine, authentic person that is you can fully shine forth. And, you know, we were working with a symbol just before this new moon. It's in the energy of sheer. And it's the Wahochpeoyate, the little light people that come in, and they work with us with our permission to brighten our light. And so they were giving a transmission just to kind of picture in a meditation yourself being like that torus field, that sort of, you know, with the donut of energy around you, with the energy flowing up and out and in, and you know, with that nation of the light people to come in and help us brighten our aura. And I think that's why I'm bumbling around so much, because I've been doing this activation and I literally am like buzzing because I am just feeling so lit up. So I apologize. I'm not grounded at all as I'm integrating all of this amazing light. So thank you also much for your patience with me as I try and put my words together. But I want to still share just a little bit about, you know, what unity has meant for me, and kind of, you know, how it's graduated to where it is for me now. And so I used to have this belief that unity just simply meant that, you know, we're just this big group of people and we're all getting along, we have similar vision, we're supporting each other, and, you know, everything's great, you know, we're all in sync and everyone's happy and everything's going smoothly. And I think that that is kind of a side effect of unity, because now the way I see it is it's more about, are we unified inside of ourselves? And in that, you know, like all of our chakras are lit up, you know, we're grounded, we're connected, we're feeling very spiritually aware. And, you know, the heart chakra is open and is receiving and sharing, you know, in that way of having a sacred mind. So the mind is connected to the heart. And that is how we are creating movement and creating energy that is becoming manifested within our realities. And so, you know, Unity has been sort of an evolving idea for me. And then I wanted to just share what Chief Golden Light Eagle talks about with Unity as well. And it's also a little bit of a different perspective. And it goes in line with, you know, how we've been working with these 12 months of, you know, these symbols and messages and symbols. And these symbols are the language of the soul. And so, you know, we're reaching like this ending of the result of something that, you know, we worked very, very hard to accomplish. So traveling through these energies and being aware of the tests and implementing the wisdom and the keys that come through with each of these teachings every moon, and, you know, just putting it all into one package. It's the culmination of all that information that you've compiled over these last 12 moons. And now what are we going to do with that? So how will we activate that into our life and really walk the messages, really walk the teachings, and, you know, move with spirit? And so he says, on a 3D level, unity is what everyone uses to create movement. If you want something done, you have to create a unity for things to happen. Create awareness of the importance of the result. And unity is what creates miracles on a spiritual level. So he says, you know, we have to maintain the positive sides of unity, and that means, you know, balancing that which is light and that which is dark, as with anything that we do. And so when we're able to be in this balance and, you know, really put the tires to the pavement with everything that we brought forward to this moment at this 13th dimensional energy, you know, this is the time that it's the time for enjoyment. It's the time of the heart, and it's the time of being joyful. And so I want to just pause there and see if anyone else wants to chime in, because then we could move into, you know, kind of what the test is for this coming moon cycle as well. But I wanted to just, you know, if anybody's burning to share one more thing, it looks like Zoe is.
So I wanted to bring in about working with the elements. So the element of air. So really that dream weaving, your imagination, your mind, starting to see what you're wanting to bring in, combined with the fire, which is the passion. That is what we're coming into now. That's how we start having this really, really fast manifestation at the same time as feeling grounded as much as we can, right? So I just wanted to bring that about, really working with the elements in ourselves of that heart. As we know, that heart doorway is the key into the higher mind, into the all-knowing mind, into the one soul. Yeah, that's what I wanted. So playing with that, playing with the elements, and have fun with it, because it is playful. It's very, very super fast, and you can always wipe the slate clean and start again. Just go like a, you know, etch a sketch, you know, like wipe it. Don't hold on to stuff anymore. Just like clear it and go, all right, next. I'm going to play. How am I going to create? And do it moment to moment and see what happens, because it's fast.
Yeah, and that's such an important piece of this is, you know, the heart is what really pulls it all together. The heart is, you know, when we're in our heart and we're feeling spiritually connected, you know, and then we are able to vision the reality that we want to create, and then we can pull in that earthly energy, the elements, to create the actual manifested form of what we want to create. So that's where that movement of the heart really feels like, for me, where it applies. And it looks like, Soma, did you have more you wanted to share too?
Yeah, there was a couple of things that really resonated with me there about the that you and Zoe were saying, and when Zoe was speaking about manifesting, I've noticed over the last week I had a couple of changes that where I needed to make. The ability to manifest at the moment seems to be very clear, with a lot of clarity. There doesn't seem to be a lot of blocks or layers of it just seems to be very clear and open. And then you were saying a few things, Jenny, about the wheels of the car hitting the road, and I think that's where we're at the moment. for a lot of us, I think we are hitting the road and moving forward rapidly. The thing that came to me was we need to let go of judgment, because that creates separation, and criticism, because that also creates separation. And I'm sure there's other emotions that create separation as well, but those came to me just now about judgment.
Awesome. Yeah. And that totally aligns once again with the energies of the Anta Karana, because within that, you know, there's the message that comes in that says, why need there be a struggle from unity? This is the shocking part. So it is your fear of your reunion with bliss. And that's like this awkward anticipation to be scared of something so good. And so the teaching is, you know, to release those expectations to be frightened or to be hurt. For good truly reigns, and good is who you are, and good is happiness. And so, you know, this leads us into this discussion about the test of this month, which is, you know, setting yourself free with non-attachment, non-judgment, clarity, and, you know, living the ascension's web. The eagle brings in the teachings about, you know, lifting from the material mind to the spiritual world. And so, you know, the questions become with this whole idea of non-attachment, you know, do you own your house, or does your house own you? You know, do you own your car, or does your car own you? You know, so we're really having to look for a revelation of thought. You know, we really, when we drop our robe, we don't take anything with us. You know, so it's important to see what's really important. You know, so there's these keys of detachment, this key of non-judgment, and the clarity. You know, do you want this, or do you need this? And really being in the question of, you know, what's the difference? Because once, you know, it can be discarded the minute that you own it. But then with needs, you know, we need clean water to drink. We need clean air to breathe. We need good fire. We need good food. And so we need to create purity in our needs and wants. And like you talked about, Soma, with the judgment, you know, we're constantly judging. We're constantly judging others as either being good or bad. Oh, she's pretty. Oh, that person's ugly. You know, like our minds are constantly moving with judgment. And so it's, you know, it's kind of that reminder to be aware of projection, because a lot of times what we see in others is actually what we're attempting to not see inside of ourselves. And so these keys come into play, you know, for that reminder of non-judgment, non-attachment. And then with clarity, you know, we have clarity of mind, body, heart, and spirit. And that comes with being really healthy and very aware spiritually. I think it's a beautiful add-on to what unity is and how we can achieve it. And really, again, it starts and ends with our own heart, you know, having that non-judgment, having that non-attachment, and really looking at what is truly important right now. So does anybody want to bounce in for any more on that?
How much love can you take in your body? How much light can you hold? How much love and light can you take and hold in your body, in your energy? And just, I felt so much love in my heart and in my body. I mean, it was just amazing. It was so beautiful. I felt, part of me at times felt like I was going to explode, because I don't think I've ever felt that much love in my body. Even when I'm channeling the Pleiadians, they always come in with a great sense of love and light. But this was different. This was really intense. It was like a switch had gone off, and I was just zapped. I was plugged in to this immense amount of love, and this came in at the same time about how much love, and it's not just for me, it's also collectively, but how much love can you hold in your body?
It reminds me of constantly being in that state of emptiness of complete emptiness to then be overflowing 24/7, because we cannot receive when we're full. So it's that, again, that whole releasing, and then noticing what binds us to that holding on, which are the distractions, the stuff. It feels, it's almost like that ecstatic feeling that I guess I can relate some of what you're saying. It's like the frequency that's flowing in, you can't even describe it. It does feel like my body's going to explode. Like it feels like it's going to explode. It's like just getting this, and if I hold on to anything, then it will go to those places that need to let go, right? So I'll be drawn, yeah. So that's why I feel suffering and stuff is such a gift, you know. I know people say you should avoid it, and it's such a gift, because the medicine in there it's not to avoid that medicine. That's the medicine in there to then have the experience. And you can't understand something until you have an experience of it, because the words would be another distraction, another holding on to something that we can't even describe.
There's great gifts and awareness and abilities and expansion that comes from trauma and the dark place.
Yeah.
I'm seeing how this like ties together, because you know, in the traumas that we've all experienced at some point in our lives, usually when we're really little, you know, those are the times when we've created belief systems, and that's when we've really put our guards up and we've built walls of protection so that we never have to experience pain ever again, you know, and associated with that trauma, or a repeating trauma or another trauma. So essentially that closes down the heart. And so how do we live with a heart wide open? You know, we have to go through that time in our life when we were traumatized, and be able to bring love into that place where that wounded child experienced that, you know, by finding the gift of that experience in implementing that as your new operating system. And so for me, it's like that whole idea of, you know, it's your fear of your reunion with bliss. You know, it's almost like putting more faith in your fear than putting faith in your actual faith. You know, if we're having this expectation of, oh gosh, if I do that, then that might happen, so I better not. And then we play small, or we hide, or, you know, we just avoid or self-sabotage and miss opportunities and things like that. And so, you know, it's just that reminder for me that not to let the old traumas really dictate how the capacity of love that I'm able to receive and give. And you know, so it's like love is worth it, you know, and it comes with the risk, because when our heart is open, we are a little more vulnerable, but we have to be vulnerable in order to experience the true essence of what everything is around us. And so it might bring some hardship, or it might bring bliss. And I would rather be open to one, or, you know, being open to experiencing what it might take to get me back to bliss. And so that to me is kind of like the idea of what this test is, and asking myself, well, why am I afraid of feeling good? And I think we should all ask that question. You know, we've been so conditioned in this victim kind of like slave system that we're breaking free from. And yeah, I mean, that to me is where I want to create from, is a heart wide open and a heart filled with a huge ability to love and nurture my creation with that energy. So what do you say, Lelie?
Well, I was talking to somebody today, and they were saying, you know, what is blocking you from moving forward? You know, what stops you in your tracks when you're trying to go somewhere? And predominantly it's fear.
Mm-hmm.
And where did fear come from? Fear can be from experience. Fear can be, you know, a learned thing from parents or from family. But it's kind of like this underlying chain that keeps us keeps us still, keeps us from moving forward, keeps us from ascension, keeps us from soul growth. And it's just fear. So what they were saying is take those 4 words and step up each step. So FEAR, and look at each aspect of it and use that as a stepping stool to get up and over and beyond it. And it's so true because, if you talk to anybody, oh, I'm afraid to do that, or I'm afraid something's going to happen. And it's time to let go of that, break those chains, break as we say, like, let go of these learned behaviors, these lineages of control and fear. This is our time to fly. And so let's do it, now.
Right.
I
Yeah.
love it.
So,
Right now.
being really conscious of what voice you're hearing in your head that says to do or not do something, and really lean into that. What is the voice? Is it a voice of faith, or is it a voice of fear? And that's such a powerful question. And what would I have to risk in order to experience that amazing thing that I say that I want so bad in my life? And leaning into it. Yeah. I mean, it might challenge some old belief systems, fears of failure, feels of losing control, fear of losing a loved one because they might think you're weird. There's so many subtle and unconscious things that can really pivot us off course. And so, yeah, this is one of my favorite topics, and just how can we transform belief systems so that we are in a very empowered and unified space. Fear keeps us separate, and that is a huge control mechanism. So if we take away the fear, that access point within us to something else that might have a nefarious agenda, then it stops, it stops that in its tracks. And then, we can really continue on moving forward with creating the reality that we do want to have in our lives, and basing that in faith and full just love of however that might unfold. And so, we have to always surrender. We have to ask and surrender. And like you said, Zoe, continue to let go of expectations, and just really watch and be aware with that clarity of what is available to me, and looking for the signs and the who's coming into your life right now based on something that you're asking for help with. I'm always just so blown away after we do ceremony, what presents itself for me to look at after I've prayed. And it sometimes comes in the form of a person that I have a conversation with, or it's a show that pops up on YouTube, like, hey, watch this video, or here's a cool article. And, it's like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I needed to see and know and hear or read right now. And it's so perfect. And it's so fun. Where do y'all want to take this energy now? Like, what would you love to create during this window of the 13th dimensional frequency of love?
I'm just playing with jewelry right now. I'm playing with symbols and bits and pieces, and just seeing what I can put together. But the main energy is love. And so I kind of play with it and create things, and then let people feel it and see what they come up with. But what if you could give somebody love? What if you could give somebody hope? What if you could give somebody peace? Just in, just a token, but maybe they carry that with them, and that little spark helps them to move forward, or to let go of the past, or let go of a fear or grief, or something that's been holding them back. And so I love the opportunity to be creative this time of year, because it's colder now, and put that little spark of love and joy in, and just let it go. So that's what I'm creating right now.
Awesome. That sounds fun. How about you, Zoe? Where do you want to take this energy this month?
So I'm in creation mode of, it's being created, it's in full motion of so showing up and being in a space of presence and divinity, and holding that space to reflect back to 6 beautiful souls that are going through the future human experience, preparing for ground crew next year. So that is going through. I'm really in that place of surprise me, expectation, excitement, exploration, and yeah, following the signs, the synchronicity, following the signs, being really alert moment to moment, and really enjoying this space of play. And things are really starting to shift, as a lot of it, a big part was about self-worth and knowing that you're deserving of the most magical things to come into our lives. And that was a big piece. And then in all of that, I'm co-creating with my teacher from 11 years ago, who played a pivotal part in my life. And now we're co-creating. So we're going to be running and hosting retreats and yoga teacher training next year. So really being in my element of allowing my gifts of teaching, of playing, and yeah, that's what's happening. And yeah, and calling in, you know, I'm having beautiful experiences when it comes to my heart, and I do feel there's lots of things coming in around that, and I don't need to jump on every opportunity. You know, I'm observing it, and yeah, I'm learning and growing much from it. And then these big heart. So 2 days, I'm getting my breast implants removed. So that feels beautifully, divinely aligned with really allowing that innocence and my heart to fully breathe even more without these hardened bowling balls on my chest. So yeah, that all feels aligned. Yeah. So
I love it.
streamlined image to move even more faster.
So exciting. I love it. How about you, Soma? What are you going to bring through for us this month?
Well, one of the things I've been getting recently is it's to do more channeling, to do more work, to do more of everything that I'm doing, to do more interviews, to do more writing, to connect people more, just to really step up my output, to let go of my own judgments, my own criticisms, my own what I would perceive as failures, or not feeling enough, not feeling good enough, which to trauma.
Yeah, so I have had a lot of creative inspiration come through with this past moon cycle, just being in reverence. And there's a new event that is developing that I'm putting together that I hope to launch probably later next month. And it's exciting because the message that came through around what it really will be doing is along the lines of mending the sacred hoop. And so it's going to be at a beautiful location in the summertime, honoring the sun and the moon and the earth. And the core elements of the event come through as the 5 arts of harmony. So music, dance, natural medicine, agriculture, and astrology. So it'll encompass a lot of the star knowledge teachings, and just a lot of really fun energy and elements that will come together, really honor the light that we each carry and bring and shine. So that's happening. And then I'm just feeling really dedicated to continue this work with Moons of Ascension and offering this monthly kind of teaching every month, because, you know, now that Chief is no longer here in the physical realm, the work still needs to continue, and people are still investing in the books and wanting to learn and work with them. And so it's kind of like, well, you get the book and like, now what? And so just knowing how to apply the teachings into a movement of time, I find is really helpful. And and it's great for me because it keeps me in the energy too, and I love to do this work. I love to bring that element through. So there's some new things happening with that, and I'm going to be rebuilding the website and everything to support that, and it feels really beautiful and fun. So I'm excited to have that love channel into the work that will continue as we move into the next round with the first dimensional moon of the buffalo after the heart moon. So that's on deck for me. And I think with that, we are at about an hour right now. So does everyone feel complete with sharing about Unity today? Awesome. Well, thank you all so much for joining me today on Moons of Ascension. I'm going to put links to everybody's information that you can find them with their websites and what their projects are coming up. So you can find me at starknowledge.org as well as EdenArising.com. And I will be putting out some information for the next Galactic Goddess Gathering as well, so we can have some fun working with this energy some more. So pay attention to that. And thank you so much for joining us on this roundtable discussion of Unity with the Heart Moon. And we will see you on the next podcast. Thanks again for joining us.